Well, the magically curious may be interested to know there is, in fact, a witch school in our midst. And no, you don't have to find a numerically vague train station platform to get to it. But if you're expecting Hogwarts, you've got the wrong idea. Kiki Keskinen's Witch School, which she runs virtually and on her property in Chelsea, isn't so much for the likes of Potter and co., but it is for muggles. This week, Keskinen, who's also a prof in Carleton's School of Journalism and Communication, held an open tea and talk. It happened at Le Green Room Tea Space above Wakefield's Black Sheep Inn, and it was a chance for wannabe witches to ask questions about the school between sips of Earl Grey. The CBC Ottawa's Jessa Runciman dropped by.
Hi, I'm Kiki. Welcome. Nice to see you. Hello. There's gifts in the basket. Have a seat and order a tea. Yeah. I'm a witch. With a W.
I'm sure that a lot of people will hear the word witch and get certain ideas in their head. They might think of a pointy hat, or they might think of a series of books that we won't name here that became a series of movies. They might even think of Wicca, which you are not practicing. So just to provide some clarity, define for me what witch means to you.
Thanks for asking. Not a lot of people ask me what is a witch. They already have a preconceived notion of what it is. But I define witch as really simply to bend, to shape, and to spark. Like the wick of the candle. If you look at a wick of a candle with a flame on it, that's all it does, bend, shape, spark. Witches are often healers, activists, change makers, and shapeshifters.
You're also a professor, and I wonder how that aspect of your life is integrated or isn't integrated with this, and has it always been that way? Is this something that you've been as open about as you are now?
I think I'm out of the broom closet now. I teach at a variety of universities. Being a witch has helped develop my intuition. So working with people and teaching students and just being open and compassionate to what everyone's going through has made me a better teacher. And this gives it a little bit of smoke. It won't burn out of control, it'll just smolder. But it is historically about welcome. I answered an ad that was in Tone magazine back then. And the ad said, come to this address in New Edinburgh, sit on the living room for 8 weeks in a row every Wednesday night and learn about ancient traditions and healing arts, the power of goddess mythology, and learn about the origins of magic. I just, on a whim, answered that ad and started attending. And there was about 10 of us sitting on a living room floor. I was the youngest by 20 years, so I was like a baby witch. But after that course ended, we continued to circle together twice a month for 18 years.
But what was it about that first interaction? I mean, like you say, answering an ad on a whim, showing up, it doesn't sound like the word witch was even mentioned at all.
I think that what still resonates for me today is nature-based spirituality. So many of us are craving the forests and nature as a temple. In fact, that's usually where we go to equalize our nervous system, and that's my church. That's most of our churches nowadays. So I would say that the words that resonate for me are feminist-based spirituality. And feminist, yes, it has the word feminine, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's just for women. It means the feminine within all of us. It does tend to attract women in midlife, and perhaps that's just the circumstances of their lives. They've let go of something, and they're looking for something with meaning and community. And they all seem to have a couple of things in common. One, they're looking for regular structure, community. Like, it's every Thursday night, so show up. You paid for it. It's a little bit like having a personal trainer for your spirituality. But there's an accountability. There's a group there, and there's homework. I think that's one part of it, is the structure. The other is, oh my gosh, I'm going to be part of a wider community forever, an intergenerational community. This is fantastic. And then the third reason is deepening one's spirituality. And not all people that enroll in witch school identify as witches. They may be Buddhists, and they're just really curious about what's being taught, about feminist-based leadership and nature-oriented spirituality. And this is a curiosity that they're fulfilling.
Describes. I've read a little bit of your stuff online.
Yeah, it's a 12-month program. It's a pretty big commitment. It starts at the beginning, anthropology, history. We need to learn the beginnings of why the patriarchy oppressed witches and shamans and anyone that was considered a healer and not part of the pious center or rite. So we have scholars come in and teach like on PowerPoints and documentaries, and then students write their reflections and really take in the history, the foundations of what is being a witch throughout time. We learn herbal magic, shape-shifting, sacred circle dancing, drumming, tarot, and then we enter a third semester. Once a month, everyone meets, and we almost hold an accountability to what are you going to do with these great witch skills that you just learned. It's more like an MBA for witches. We teach leadership skills, even if that's deepening your own practice or setting something up in the community. We want to help people who enroll kind of make something out of it. My lineage, Irish lineage, we're colonizers. And when I think about the land that I'm practicing on, that I reside on, I recognize that it has thousands of years of ceremonial ritual layered on it. And here I am adding to it as a white woman. And those conversations need to happen about healing the past and the present, and not just a land acknowledgement. But what's the impact I want to have as a witch? What am I going to do for the future of this land? And that's where building up this spiritual center for activists in general is so important.
I want to acknowledge the cost of the program. It isn't necessarily accessible for everybody. $1,600 for the full year. I suppose, what would you say to someone who says that that means that only people of a certain degree of privilege can access this education?
Yeah, and that's a great question. And it's one that we grapple with all the time, is that the amount of time that we put into the program, all of the teachers, and the fact that we only have 13 students per program really gives an intense transformational experience. And so you're right, it's not available to everyone, and I'm sorry about that. I do spend time with people that say this is not possible for me, trying to find other programs that they can put together. And I also keep them on a list and want to invite them to a lot of like free activities. Like last night we did a chanting and singing group around my campfire. Just anyone who wanted to come, just come. So the community is amazing here in Ottawa, whether you join WitchSchool or not. And you're right, it's not for everyone. I wish it was, but we put a lot of time and attention into it. And because of that reason, it does have a high fee.
I want to get back to this idea of your teaching, because I'm sure that there are a few crucial things that you want your communication students to take away. And likewise, there are essential things that you hope that your students at the Witch School come away with. And I'm wondering if there's any overlap in the people, as a teacher, what you're hoping to convey to your students across the board.
Well, first of all, you're doing it right now. You're really open to the person that you're engaging with. A lot of that is eye contact, but it's also opening to what they're really saying. And that means a keen ability to listen and hold space. And hold space isn't just like a woohoo term. It's really attention. And in this day and age where we have attention deficit, it's an incredible skill, both for a witch through WitchSchool and, my journalism students, is to pay attention. Now, in WitchSchool, I probably teach more around now open up so that you're not thinking while you're with that person. You're just being with them, and see if you have any intuition about them. If they're asking and you're consenting to providing a tarot reading, that you've asked for permission, and a witch can offer their intuition to you. And that's something I think my journalism students learn as well. There's one common language: healing and change. And anyone can access that.
It's been lovely to talk with you, and really great to drop by as well. So thank you for talking to me.
Thank you. It's really a pleasure.
Well, that's WitchSchool founder Kiki Keskinen speaking with the CBC's Jessa Runciman.